And then that person shows up at a convention, and CGC is there, and you get Kate Beckinsale to sign your comic book in front of them, and you grade it, and it gets a 9.8, and all of a sudden you have a $1,000 book.
Testing, 1 2 1 2. All right, welcome to Bag Sports and Breakfast. My name's Spencer. This is Hugh, and we're going to be talking spec news. There's a lot of news this week. And what we read this week, what we're buying next week, and we're going to be talking about CGC, PGX, and CBCS. Let's get into news.
All right, let's do some quick news first. Three were announced. 3 new DC books were announced.
Okay.
In the last 24 hours. Dark Knights of Steel,
which is supposed to be about,
which is Game of Thrones with Batman.
Okay.
Written by Tom Taylor.
Cool.
I can't remember the guy's first name, but Putri is the artist. So, I mean, it's going to look great. I saw the cover will be right here. It's really cool looking. But he announced that today on Instagram. So,
okay.
But looks cool.
We need another Batman title.
And I think it's his new Deceased type thing where he's just going to do story after story.
I love Deceased.
In a DC characters in kind of a different setting.
Gotcha.
Then we get the one that I don't know about it so much, but the Robins #1 got announced, along with Robin and Batman got announced also.
So we're getting another like Batman and Robin.
These were 2 comics that they put out a list of books. I think it was about 6 months ago, and they had people vote.
Oh, okay.
On what book would they like to see made. And it had a whole bunch of names, and it was...
so it had like the writers
had the writer and the artist attached to it and what the name of the book was. Gotcha. And kind of like a description.
Kind of like
there
a
were some
synopsis.
There were some cool ones in there. I don't remember them. I did not vote for the 2 that won.
I'll find the list.
Yeah.
Probably.
And so, but there were a couple cool ones in there. I can't remember. Jim Zub, I think, had one in there that I really thought looked cool. But what won is The Robins.
So is it like all the Robins?
It's all the Robins, and this ass storyline. Here it is. There's a meeting of the Robins, and a girl, I think.
Are we talking about Nightwing as well?
Yeah, he's in there, Dick Grayson, because it's about to shake him to his core. So, a girl runs into their meeting room or whatever, I guess, during their little meeting, and claims to be the first Robin.
Okay.
AKA Dick Grayson wasn't the first Robin. There was somebody before him.
Okay.
That's the plot of the book.
That's it?
That's them figuring out if she really was an original Robin, which Bruce, do you know who this is? I mean, it's
I feel like
2-page book, done.
Yeah,
2-page book, done. But she's in danger or something or whatever. But
so basically, this,
and it's just an adventure with all the Robins and then this new character.
Okay.
I'm surprised it's not written by James Tynion, but no. And then there's a new book called not Batman and Robin, but Robin and Batman.
But it is a Batman and Robin book.
Correct. I believe it looks like it's Damian Wayne and Batman. And the Robins is a 6-part miniseries, and Robin and Batman is only a 3-part miniseries.
Okay.
So, but those all got announced in the last couple days. Like I said, I mean they look interesting at least. But holy crap, can we have some other books besides Batman books?
Yeah.
DC.
Also, they have Fear State, and then they have that vampire one coming out by James Tynion.
Yeah. Yes. So many Batman books. Okay, so let's talk about Variant Gate. Variant Gate
dun, dun.
happened from when we're recording this. About 3 or 4 days ago, it really started to hit the thing. The poop started to hit the fan. Walmart.
Oh, okay. We're talking about this. Got it.
Yeah, they're calling it Variant Gate.
Okay.
Because of the variants. So Walmart has 3-packs from Marvel. I think they're like $7.99 or $8.99.
Just Marvel.
Just Marvel.
Okay.
And so far, we'll see. And they're 3-packs, and you can buy them at Walmart. And inside these 3-packs, not so much early on, but every once in a while somebody would say they would found one, like a year ago, 6 months ago. They would be like, I found this weird 1 in 50 in my 3-pack. But it was like one out of every, 100 packs.
So good luck finding one.
Right. But then this new batch showed up. And it's about 2 out of every 3. So if you bought 3 packs, you're probably going to get 2 pretty decent books. And they're all ratio books or incentive variants, or some have incentive variants with and second printings in them. So sometimes you get 2 good books. I saw a ton of people when they were unboxing them got Thor 6 second printing.
Oh,
the one with the Thanos on the cover.
The wrapper.
That was running. It was running about what, like 10 to $20, right?
Yeah. There's like a black and white.
Yeah,
one.
that one's
that one's like the $100 one.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 1 in 50 of the
second printing or whatever.
Yeah, which was going to be low anyway. So, but that's not really what's making people mad.
No,
right?
What's making people mad is inside these variants, sometimes there's 1 in 1,000s, 1 in 2,000s. And then Patrick Gleason and a couple other guys who run their own shops, their own stores online, somehow their store exclusives have ended up in these 3-packs.
That's not okay.
And they want to know how. How is it happening?
Right, because this is supposed to be for their shop only. It's supposed to be for their loyal fans. Their
right.
Yeah.
I saw another guy open one. I watched a video yesterday where a guy opened one. I think it was Unknown Comics. That's an online store, right?
It's an online store.
A guy found an Unknown Comics variant. In his pack.
Okay.
And he's like, and he actually turns him over and he's like, oh, Unknown Comics. I wonder how that got in here. And he even says it when he's looking at it. So
that is not good.
I have a working theory.
Okay.
Of what's happened.
A Hugh theory.
A Hugh theory. My working theory is Diamond Distribution losing the Marvel account. Marvel going to Random House, and they have a warehouse full of books from the last year and a half. And that includes those variants. And sometimes, say, said store Unknown Comics, you have to order a certain amount of books to do a print run. So Unknown Comics orders 3,000 of the trade variant and 1,000 of the Virgin variant, or 500 of the Virgin variant, and so on, and then tells their customers there's 500 of it.
Right.
Or 300 to make it rarer. But the problem is you can't order 300 books. You have to order 500. So now there's 200 extra books sitting somewhere. Now, Unknown Comics may have Diamond Distribution hold some of those.
Well, I know that they also probably go through and see if there's any damages or whatever.
Right, and they hold them for that. They hold on to them just in case there were damages. We can still send you one out. But those books after that are supposed to be destroyed, or I'm assuming sent to Unknown Comics so they can like mark up the covers or
do whatever they want with them. My question is, well, like Comic Tom has an exclusive. I wonder if someone's found one of his, because they're also supposed to be an exclusive for his mail call thing.
Right. But depends on how big of a print run he does. If he gets all of the books, so like if
I'm assuming he has to get them through Diamond, just like everyone else.
Right, but he goes through whoever the printer is and distributors. Like he calls up Marvel and he says, "I'll take 3,000 of Women of Marvel" or whatever. Right. But he has a large subscription base, so when he's doing that, generally, it's like 3,000 books. I mean, so that's above print run. It's the ones where there's only 200 of them and 300 of them, like Scout Comics,
Right.
I mean, they may use a different printer so they can print a shorter run, but I know Marvel and DC and Image and those, they have a minimum.
But this is just Marvel books too, right? This is
so far.
so far. Okay.
Because if those books are sitting at Diamond,
There's likely
now
there's
DC
else.
pulled their books from Diamond
a
year
back.
ago.
Yeah.
So there's probably not any DC books. But Image and Boom and IDW, those books are still sitting there, I would guess. There's a warehouse of them. And now if I'm those companies, I'm calling up Diamond Distribution and I'm going, I need
proof that you
I
burnt or
might not
destroyed
even
them.
call them. I may just show up and be like, I need a walkthrough of your facility, and I'm going to check I'm going to do spot checks on your boxes.
Yeah.
Where are the IDW books? We need to see them now.
Yeah.
Because I'd have to be like, because it's the only way I can think of them getting these variants out is the fact that they were in some section of the warehouse where and Diamond's probably pissed. They lost the Marvel account, they lost the DC account. They're going to keep
the two biggest accounts they have.
Right. They're not going to be able to survive without those two accounts. The local LCSs can now order from Random House. Random House offers free shipping.
That's nice.
Yeah. Diamond doesn't offer that.
Why not? They're a huge corporation.
Well, they're not. That's the thing. They're like a family-owned thing, and they had like a little mafia, 100% ownership of comic distribution in it.
So they didn't have to care.
That's correct. That's the problem with Monopoly, which we'll talk about later in grading books. So this is what I believe, and I don't know if they'll ever be able to prove it, or we probably won't even hear about it. But my guess is that Diamond's probably like, F Marvel,
Right.
F them. We're just gonna ship them out. What do we care? We have extra books. We need to fill those packs with 3 books.
We don't care anymore.
Correct,
We're
we
losing
don't.
them anyways. Why
Right.
not?
Walmart called up. They offered us pennies on the dollar for 3 book sets.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna put them. We're gonna shrink wrap them as cheap as we can, and we're gonna ship them out
Right.
until we don't have any in our warehouse.
And then we're done.
Yep. And that again, that would be my guess. If they find out some other thing, maybe they'll let us know. But I don't know how I don't know how the Patrick Gleason ones would get into a 3-pack.
So you got some though.
Yes.
What did you get?
I got a whole bunch because I bought as many packs as I could find.
Right.
I opened another one this morning, but I didn't get anything in that one. Okay. I found one more pack.
So, but like, what did you get? Like, what you were talking like? Did you get like 500?
I got a 1 in 500s. I got a 1 in 1,000. And
what's
again,
the ratio breakdown you would say? If you had to be like, okay, here's how many 1 in 100s, 1 in 500s, 1 in 1,000s I got. What would you think the breakdown of
obviously
obviously
there was more 1 in 25s and 1 in 50s printed than the other.
Right.
So the breakdown is still harder to end up with a 1 in 1,000 than it is anything else.
Right.
But the 1 in 25s and the store and the variants, like the 1 per LCS comics.
Oh yeah. Are those showing up pretty easily?
Yes, and second printings, which shouldn't be as prevalent as they should be, are showing up.
Aren't usually the LCS ones just like the main cover but a virgin?
No, they do they did the Stormbreakers this past year. So where there were 5 or 6 of them, where there was 1 per store variant. Spider-Man was done by like Cabello, and one was a Momoko, and one was a but I think RG Silva did one. I mean, it was just whoever was in that Stormbreakers group this year, the new artists. So if I'm Marvel and I didn't do this, I'm pissed. If I'm a store owner, I'm pissed. If I'm one of the
stores who got exclusives,
one of the .coms that had an exclusive, and now my exclusives are out in the wild, and now I can't tell people that there were only this many, because now there's obviously more than that, which makes them all look bad.
Where does Bad Idea get their comics from?
I don't know. I think they probably print their own stuff because their books are like...
I know it's low, but...
Like Behemoth Well, they print their own books. They do their own distribution. They don't go through Diamond.
Oh, I was just saying,
Yeah,
like,
they don't go through Diamond. So I think all this stuff, like I said, I would be amazed if Diamond can survive 6 to 8 months after October, because I think October is when the books start shipping direct from Random House.
I think it might be sooner.
I think it's the October books. I don't know what day that is. I think it might be soon.
Yeah. We're talking FOC.
Yeah. I think.
Well, that would start September then.
So.
FOC starts for September.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, September would start the books for.
When that happens, I think you can pretty much just start counting down the days, I would assume, because I will be shocked if Image, IDW, I know Scout already is going through Lunar.
Lunar is the one with DC.
So I will not be shocked if the smaller companies don't jump to Random House or Lunar, but probably Random House. They're a bigger operation.
Well, and they have an incentive going through them, because then they might be able to get their books out into a higher audience because of Barnes & Noble, Target, Fred Meyer.
And also the LCSs will like them going with that. The free shipping thing that's a good deal.
Yeah, it's a really good deal.
So.
Because then you could potentially order more then.
I mean, they're losing a percentage of their discount that Diamond was giving them, but then there's no shipping. But it'll be interesting to see how long they last. But this variant gate thing was a giant mess up. Now, the one good thing it is the people like us, our end, the buyer. It's cool. It's like a lottery pull ticket where you're like, holy crap, I just got to go find some and buy them, and maybe I get lucky, you know?
Yeah.
And I get 1 in 500 out of a 4 or 5 packs, pays for all my packs, and I make a little extra money, you know? Or you're looking for the 1 in 500 Silver Surfer.
Yeah, didn't the guy, while you were at Walmart, he just paid you $300 on the spot for it? He's
That's
like,
a good
do you
deal.
have it? I want it.
Yeah, that's what he's looking for. And there were the Bushima 1 in 1,000.
These are way back, right? This is like during 2020 kind of thing, right? Like these are the books that you're seeing?
No, I mean, there's some books from now.
As well? So it's just kind of a mashup of just stuff.
Yeah, because one of the 3-packs is Extreme Carnage on the cover.
Okay.
The one from just like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And supposedly that's a Walmart exclusive. Like, I don't know, the color must be changed on the cover or something, whatever. But and then there's like an Alien #1 pack.
Okay.
That I've seen a lot of the Alien 1 packs, with the third book being like a pretty good ratio book.
Gotcha.
So, but good luck finding some. I mean, maybe if you're in mid America or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I went to
the regular Walmarts, 4 Walmarts.
I went to, I don't know, like 6 Walmarts, 7 Walmarts. It was a lot. It was literally on my phone, next Walmart, you know.
Is it all the Walmarts, or is it like specific?
No,
Walmarts?
some of them have them, some of them don't. I mean, it's just, and also, you got to ask, because normally the comic books at Walmart are stuck next to the Pokemon and
that, or at
football cards.
Not at the magazine area?
No.
Interesting.
And usually they're in that section. But because of the problem with Pokemon and trading cards,
right,
over the last 3 months, where people are fighting in the parking lot over Pokemon cards and football trading cards and stuff, they don't have any on the shelf.
Right.
I did go to one over on Eastport here in Portland, and they still are carrying their Pokemon cards and their football cards, but they're locked in a cabinet, like the razors and cigarettes.
Yeah.
You got to ask for somebody. They come by with a key and they hand you how many packs you want.
Yeah.
So
is that all for news, or we got more?
No, we got one more thing.
Thought we did.
That's a crazy news story, though. That's a news story that's going to keep coming out
for the next couple of weeks, and we'll probably keep on reporting on it. Then.
If I'm Marvel, I'm calling Walmart and telling them to pull all those books.
Yeah.
I would have already done that if I was Marvel.
Yeah.
I said, you need to pull all those packs.
It might be happening.
So, and then if I'm them, I'm calling Diamond. If Diamond's the one who shipped them out, and I don't know if it was Diamond, but I'm pretty sure it is. Mm-hmm. I'm calling Diamond.
Who else would have done it?
I'm like, Diamond, you got to pull all those back.
Yeah.
Because people like, Patrick Gleason. I mean, if I'm Patrick Gleason, I'm suing. I'm suing Diamond Distribution.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're not supposed to have more of these. Why do you have more
right.
of these?
And they're for
You're
my store
only.
And they're my store only. Why are you giving them out in something other than my store?
Right.
So, but let's talk about Substack.
Let's talk about it. We got Scotty Young, James Tynion,
today
Nick Spencer.
Today, Chip Zdarsky.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Chip Zdarsky. Okay.
Yeah, he's putting out a book through Substack.
Okay. That's 4 people.
So
those are 4.
It's a bunch. It's a lot, and it's a lot of the big names.
Yeah.
So
have we got Scott Snyder on it?
Yes, Snyder's involved.
Tom Taylor.
I don't know. I haven't heard him announce it yet. Again, okay. So Substack is.
It's a newsletter subscription service.
Owned and operated, I think, by the guy who owns LinkedIn.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, multi-million-dollar dude.
Did a little bit of digging. So, I don't know how much money that guy has. I don't think he's like uber rich. Does anybody really use LinkedIn anymore?
No.
I mean, I don't.
I never.
Yeah, I mean, it's an old app, and and it's basically a business app. So, I mean, it's not like people are just lining up to sign up to it.
Right.
But I mean, he may have $100 million. I don't know, but he put it out and got investors, and he got a $65 million up front for Substack. Okay. So I can tell you right now, again, this is a brain figuring it. This is how this works. He got to Nick Spencer somehow.
Yeah, he called up Nick Spencer.
Nick Spencer was the first guy to join on board, and I don't believe Nick Spencer has a book or anything he's doing. He's behind the scenes running Substack.
So he's the guy.
So he's leaving,
doing the ropes.
He's leaving Spider-Man,
and just leaving in general.
Going to Substack. He's going to run Substack. They're going to use Substack as kind of a comic book Patreon. That's all I can see that it's being used as.
It looks like that. I went on there yesterday.
Except, here's the thing. Without actual paper books, it's going to fail.
Yeah.
Let me try to explain. And here's the thing. Comic book writers don't get paid a lot.
I get it, yeah.
They don't make a lot of money. So this guy from LinkedIn gets $65 million, goes to Nick Spencer, offers Nick Spencer, I don't know, $50,000, $100,000, I don't know, something. Come on board, run Substack. Okay, well that's more money than Nick Spencer made writing Spider-Man.
Writing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tells him, hey, get a bunch of your other guys. This is what I'm offering. Because he's going to take a percentage of that $65 million he got, and he's going to invest it in big name creators. Scott Snyder,
James Tynion,
Scotty Young, whoever, and they all got paid. All of them. They all got upfront money to join Substack.
Yeah, they wouldn't have done it otherwise.
Correct. They got a giant cachet of money.
Here's your check.
Here's your check. And why wouldn't they take it? Now, in their minds, I would probably assume they're just like, I'm going to take the money, but this thing's going to be dead in a year.
Right. Like James Tynion is an avid reader of comic books himself as well.
Yeah.
So he understands that the market is still with paper.
And again, and maybe and I read some stuff that said some people are going to have paper books. They're going to print books.
Well, I looked at James Tynion because I'm a huge fan of James Tynion. He's going to have 4 books, 4 exclusive covers or whatever.
Right.
On Substack.
Right.
And you have to pay $200 a year for it.
I mean, all right.
That's like all that it was, and like he already has a newsletter. And the thing about Substack, that's I think is the downfall of it already, is that you have a free option. You can just join their newsletter for free, and then you don't have to do anything else, which I'm assuming is just what's going to happen eventually.
Like I said, I joined Scotty Young's newsletter
For free.
for free. I did not pay the $7 to, I don't know what, you just get access or whatever to his Substack. Like the extra additional, the director's cut.
Right.
And then if you paid $300, then you got physical books, 2 of them.
Of the fairy tale one.
Yeah, I hate Fairyland.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's bringing Gert back for I Hate Fairyland, which is fine. But I'm assuming he's still going to do that in Image, and there's going to be those copies. You're just going to get variant covers or something from Substack.
Right.
It's baffling. Again, Patreon already does this, basically.
Yeah.
So this guy from LinkedIn who's basically created a comic book Patreon, I guess. I mean, it's cool if you're handing out money to comic writers, cool, because I like them and they should get paid.
Yeah, but they're like, again, you're not going to get a ton of people. You're going to get a ton of people. Yeah, sure, I'll sign up for the newsletter for free, and maybe there'll be some people that will do it, but
right,
it's not going to be lucrative in the long run.
Well, it's lucrative for the writers right now.
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
That's why they're going to hop on and do it.
It's not going to be lucrative for the LinkedIn guy and Substack, and it's not going to be...
For Nick Spencer, it's not going to be lucrative.
I mean, again, he got paid.
I know, but again, at the end of the day, if you want to keep on being the person or the...
He can always go back to writing Spider-Man. If this thing fails, he can always be like, all right, I'm going to go over and write Batman, whatever.
Right, same with James Tynion and all these guys.
Tynion's leaving Batman. No, Nick Spencer could jump on that job now.
Well, dude, the thing is Tynion still... He's leaving Batman, but he's not leaving all of his books.
Yeah, the only books he's staying on his books. He's leaving all other books.
Right.
If it's not an IP book for him,
so
he's not doing.
Well, he's doing Nice House on the Lake, and that's a DC book. He owns that though. Yeah, because it's Black Label.
It's Black Label. He owns it. He created it. That's all it is.
Right. So, like,
I mean, sure, DC has the rights to publish it, and print it, but
nothing much.
Yeah,
since that.
But everything else, I mean, Tynion's only going to do stuff that involves his own stuff. Mm-hmm. He's not going to take side jobs because Substack just paid him a whole bunch of money.
Yeah. For
at least a year, you would assume. Maybe 2. I mean, they got $65 million. Throw a couple. I mean, there've been people who've tried stuff like this in the past, and sometimes I thought they were better. There was a better idea than this Substack back in the day. Guy in Florida created a company called CrossGen.
Sounds familiar.
They have a whole bunch of books in the back bins because they're defunct now. Mm-hmm. But he created Mark Wade worked there. Greg Land, he did Sojourn. Whenever you look at a Greg Land book and you see a girl, it just looks like the girl from Sojourn. Mm-hmm. They had an actual office, and all the writers and the artists went there Monday through Friday and worked 9 to 5.
Right.
So it was different. They were employees of a company instead of,
You can do this at home and...
Right. Independent contractor.
Manage it, yeah.
Independent contracting.
However much you want to do, you get.
Instead, it was this business, and it was a neat idea.
But it's basically the same thing.
Well, it was just people got paid to show up and work and do their projects.
Whatever projects they wanted to do.
Well, they had to be in the Sojourn. They had to be in the CrossGen universe. Okay. All the characters had each main character in the book had this little sigil thing, like a tattoo or something that looked kind of like the piece, the Pisces thing. It was an interesting idea. It didn't work. Right. It would have probably been better if they had just let people come on board and do whatever they wanted and not have to worry about the universe.
Right.
I think there was maybe one book that wasn't involved in the universe, the CrossGen universe. I can't remember. It was such a long time ago. But it was a good idea. It just didn't work.
Well, dude, we found out that digital doesn't work. We've talked about this before. You're not bringing in new customers, really.
Nope.
So when you are like, hey, we're gonna do this digitally, all the old guys are gonna be like, well, I've been reading comics forever, paper.
Then what happens is,
so I don't care for the digital
those people just cut new books out of their lexicon. They okay, no new books, and then they're just collecting comics.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah. And then if it comes out on a trade paperback, maybe they'll read it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm a comic book reader, but I also am a comic book collector. But I like the feel of reading a comic book. I have an iPad. I've tried to read comic books digitally.
It's boring.
It's just I don't like the feel of it as much as I do this. So, and there is that thing, that collectability thing, that I need this. And I put this in my.
I own this.
I have it in my collection. I have a hard copy of that. I can go, hey Spencer, hey, you should read this. It's a really good book. Here, have it. Read this.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that digitally. I mean, I could illegally,
Right.
But I'm assuming this will be a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to read books digitally. I'm not going to read. If you send me a book, a comic book through my email, and it's in my email, I'm just.
How many people check their email?
I mean, I do all day long.
Well, yeah, but you.
But I'm not gonna
help run a company.
Yeah, but I'm just not gonna read a book where maybe they make it so I can just scroll through the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
But it's interesting. I mean, like,
good for the writers who jumped on to get the payout, and then we all know that you'll probably be back on something sooner.
I mean, the thing is, most of them had their own websites already.
Yeah, like James Tynion had a newsletter.
Scotty Young has a website.
Yeah, if you were a fan of theirs, you already were subscribed to their newsletter.
Now it's just another access point.
Exactly.
It doesn't move the needle for me. Again, if they announce that they're going to be just putting out regular books, like Substack is going to work with Boom or Image or something,
where they actually can have the books out,
and they're going to, and maybe they come out through kind of like what DC does, digital first, and then the book comes out a couple months later. Issue 1 comes out, but it's been out on digital for a month or two.
Right.
Cool. And maybe you only put out the stuff that's popular.
Yeah.
Then that works. But other than that, we'll revisit this at around Christmas time and see how it's going for Substack.
Yeah. Let's move over to Spec. So,
all right.
What you got for Spec?
Well, Spec's kind of goofy this week.
Goofy.
Yeah. First one, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, because of the knuckle thing.
Even before that, I was already specking on. Now that just put a spotlight on it.
Right.
A lot of those books, especially the older ones, the Archie ones.
Are they all done by IDW?
They're now.
Okay.
It used to be an Archie book.
Okay.
There are a ton of those books that have a really small print run. So, and there's some really obscure issues
5,000?
with newsprint variant,
Is it
like 5,000, some of them. I mean, but I mean, Idris Elba got announced as Knuckles in the new movie that's going to be coming out.
Yeah.
So
did you watch the first one? I didn't watch the first one.
No. I've never been a Sonic fan, really.
Was when I was a kid. Like I took a 5.
But I went and I picked up Sonic the Hedgehog, 13 or whatever it was the other day, because first appearance of Knuckles. Mm-hmm. And I knew exactly where one of my LCSs that they had a copy. So I went and I grabbed it. And then I picked up a couple of the later down the line issues, and a
The
couple,
low print run ones.
and then a couple comics where just Knuckles was on the front cover.
There you go.
And then he had his own book.
Oh, he did.
So I picked up Knuckles 1 through 5 or something. So now it's not being spec'd on a ton.
Still?
Still, I mean, comic book guys aren't going to spec on Archie books don't get spec'd on a lot. Not by the wide variety of people. There's a niche audience like Archie books, you know.
Gotcha.
Like a couple of months back, I bought a couple Life of Archie books where on the cover, Betty and Veronica are like in like lingerie or something, you know, for like 3 issues where they're like eating popcorn, watching a scary movie. And that's the zombie Archie book. I put those 3 comic books into a auction on eBay, and I bought them for $3 each, and I think it went for like $60, $70 or something. It was ridiculous. There's still a very small audience that really likes that stuff. So,
yeah.
A couple other things. Lumberjanes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be coming out. They've been working on it a while now, I believe. It's a cartoon. It's gonna be on, I think, Netflix. Because Lumberjanes is Boom, right?
Yeah, it's Boom. So it's gonna be Netflix.
So it's Netflix. That book is gonna go up a lot.
Lumberjanes, yeah.
Lumberjanes going to go up a lot. Right now, you can get like a 9.8 for like $300. Issue number 1.
That's not too bad.
No, and you can get a raw for, you know,
$100.
$100. But yeah, those, and again, that is early Boom. So some of those issues, Lumberjanes, are low print run.
What about saying that one was more kid?
Yeah, I mean, and
forward?
also I think it was more aimed at teen girls.
Gotcha.
I mean, but it's a book to look into if you think it's something you may like down the road. You need to get in now. If you wait
want
another,
it in your LCS, you want it now.
If you wait until winter, it's going to be out. You're going to be paying double.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dark Horse presents number 24, first work of Donny Cates. It's kind of rare.
Dark Horse what?
Dark Horse presents 24.
Okay. That's the name of the comic?
Yep. Dark Horse Presents was a long-running comic. It's where Alien and Predator got their start. You know, Buffy, Hellboy, all that kind of stuff.
So it's just introducing new.
It's like an
stuff.
anthology book, like different little short stories. And
Gotcha.
one of the short stories is by Donny Cates in Dark Horse Presents 24. So that's a book to keep an eye out for.
So if you're a fan of Donny Cates and you just buy everything Donny Cates,
he has a following. So if that's, you know, if you want to have his first work, I mean, that's, jump on that. Some others. Right now I've been specking on 1 in 100s, but from Marvel, DC, whatever, but from like 4 or 5 years ago. See what happens
when they first started doing it.
Well, here's the thing: a 1 in 100 comes out. Like, say this yesterday. You know, today's Thursday for us. Comics came out yesterday. There were multiple books that had 1 in 100s. So, like, Defenders had a 1 in 100.
Right.
Okay. So yesterday, that book to buy it was going to run you $80 to $100.
For a 1 in 500.
Oh, 1 in 100.
1 in 100.
1 in 500 is going to run you over $100, maybe $200 depending on the book.
Right.
$500 if it's King, or $2,500 if it's King Spawn.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is these books, slowly over time, if it was not a popular book or something happened in the book,
then it goes down in price.
Yeah, you can get 1 in 100s from just a couple years ago for $24 to $25.
Okay.
At that point, that's a really good deal, especially if you pick up a low printed book.
Low print, 1 in 5. 1 in 100.
Yeah, 1 in 100, you know, like a Miss Marvel or
but what's
Moon Girl,
what's
Devil
the
Dinosaur.
point of doing that?
Well, now then it's low print run, and then so Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur gets optioned, and all of a sudden you're holding a 1 in 100 of a book that had a
So you're saying
20,000 print run.
You're saying you have to go after low print run.
I mean, you don't have to.
100s?
I mean, you could also go after just covers you like. So I bought a 1 in, I think it was a 1 in 100 Spider-Man 700 Mobius cover, which was really cool looking. And I got it for like $30. That book was like $100, $150 the day it came out. Right. So it's always good to go back and look at that kind of stuff, those ratio variants. So I don't like to name LCSs and stuff. We're not being paid to promote anybody or anything like that. So one of the stores I go to, they put their books, a lot of their 1 in 10s, 1 in 25s just go out on the shelf with the regular books. So if you get there and you flip through them, there'll be a bag and a boarded copy, and you can pull it out and there's a price on it.
It's usually near the back.
And so what they do is, after a couple of months, if that thing sits there, they take a price tag and they whack the price tag, they whack it in half, and they put it in their back issue bin. Mm-hmm. And so when you're going through the back issue bin, you'll find a 1 in 25 for $10. It's like that. So there are a lot, and especially stuff like Dynamite. There's so many variants,
Right.
That then all of a sudden there's a book that all of a sudden is getting spec'd on because it has a such and such character in it, or there was an artist that did this cover, and that artist hit spikes. Well, then you go pick up those back issues or get online, and you're like, oh, hey, this book was like $100, now it's $25.
There you go.
So that's something to look at. And then 2 others. I got Hawkeye, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th printings of the Fraction, Aja run. Kate Bishop's in those books. Kate Bishop is going to hit big here. November 24th, the comic book industry will be doing nothing. People will be coming out of the woodworks to buy Hawkeye books.
Really? You think that this will actually bring in new people?
I think Haley Steinfeld is a popular actress. I think she has a large following on social media.
And you think that people will actually start coming to her?
I think people are going to want, or they already do want her first appearance. It's Young Avengers #1. It's,
Isn't her first cover appearance of a Young Avengers 8?
No. No. Young Avengers 8 is, I believe, the first time they call her Hawkeye.
Gotcha.
But Kate Bishop is going to be very popular. She could end up, she
can break the barrier.
She could be the Batgirl of the Marvel Universe. Depending on if the show's good. Again, still comes down to that. But she's a very good actress. She's a singer. She's multi-talented. And she's going to promote this. She's going to promote Hawkeye everywhere. And
I wouldn't be surprised if she is already.
And people, a lot of it's secretive still.
Well, when
she posts about it already.
The date or whatever, she's posting about it.
And I know she's a fan she was a fan of being that character. Like, somebody got to her and said, hey, read this, look at this.
And then she was like, I want to be this character.
Hell yeah. Like I said, a couple years ago, I think Joss Whedon was going to pick her to be Batgirl. And then Batgirl would have been bonkers for DC.
But they didn't do it.
No. And Joss Whedon ended up being a creep, so that all fell apart.
Yep.
But those Hawkeye books, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th printings.
Low print.
They're lower print runs, and they're weird-looking books. Like, each one gets purpler as it goes, kind of thing.
Pick up the purple one, because her cover, her whole thing is purple.
Yeah, and so those variants, and right now they're still...
Are they still pretty low?
They're still pretty low.
We talking $20?
I bought a pack of like 8 different covers, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th prints. It was all a mishmash somebody put together. I bought it for like $20.
Dang.
$24 shipping, I think, with shipping.
That surprises me that it's still that low.
I keep finding them in the back issue bins at places too.
Really?
So
weird. But we're talking like the dog cover ones, and like the like kind of white. They're white with like a single color.
The one with the girl on the cover with the gun and it's smoking, and the original cover's red, and then it goes to purple,
Really?
And
those are still that cheap?
you can still find them out there. And so
that blows my mind.
you only have August, September, October, November. You have 120 days
to find these before they go crazy.
after November 24th. On Thanksgiving Day.
No way.
At that point, they're gonna be too expensive. It won't be worth buying them at that point. You'll have to wait a year or 2 years to ever want to pick some up. I mean, unless you're just somebody
if you want to, going into our eventual topic, grading these are going to be a pain in the butt because they're white covers.
Yeah. Well, and some of them are purple and white.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is going to make it so it's harder because it's solid colors instead of like what you're handing there is like it's
right.
It's not. Yeah, it's black and green, but it's not like crazy.
But those books, 120 days from now, I guarantee you they're all going to, and they spiked already. They spiked once, they went back down. They're going to spike again, and they're not going to come back down.
By the time this is airing, I've probably already bought them. If
So,
they're that low, I'm going to go buy some.
and some of those issues, I want to say even issue.
I really want that dog one you showed me a long time ago.
That's a great book.
Where it's just from the dog's perspective, so it's
dog.
not. And like there's no words, like you see them talking, but it's like, wait, what's going on?
8, I can't remember.
And like the dog, you can see how the dog is trying to figure out what they're talking about with all these like word bubbles and stuff.
And he can only make out the words he's heard a whole bunch of times, like his name and food and go and sit. Yeah. Everything else is like blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's great. And then the last one on my spec list, I have been specking these for a while, and I'll finally just give it up and just be like, okay.
This is the secret one you haven't told us yet.
I have been collecting up every horror movie comic book. Not even homage. Horror movie comic book. Friday the 13th. Halloween. Leatherface. Pumpkinhead.
So with the Conjuring
Evil
one that
Dead.
came out, you were picking that up too.
I am picking that up. But that was that was put out by DC. These other books were put out by like Topps Comics in like the 80s.
Okay.
You know? So anything like that, Underworld, and if it has a photo cover, those are even more. I'm more spec worthy even on the photo cover.
And what's the reason behind this? Just like because people are starting to love horror and horror more, or
I don't know if this is common knowledge, but there are a certain tier of books that have photo covers. Those photo covers are highly sought out. Again, one of the things to always spec on is something that has multiple fandoms. Okay? So comic books is a fandom.
right?
Okay? Comic book
Movies
collecting
are
is
a
a thing.
fandom.
Movies is a fandom. Horror is a fandom. Actors have fan clubs. They have people who follow them. So now some overprinted, like Orphan Black. I mean, they put a photo cover in Loot Crate. I mean, so that book's not really worth anything because there's a million of them. But Charmed, Ghost Whisperer, Xena Warrior Princess, The Expanse, Battlestar Galactica. I mean, there's a bunch.
Gotcha.
Out there. And if you can, Buffy has some. If it's a cover B or a cover C of a $30,000-$40,000 print run. So how many are there? There's 10,000 of them, you know? Or maybe less, like Ghost Whisperer, you know? I picked up a bunch of those and I sold those for ridiculous amounts of money.
Gotcha.
People are weird. And, Winona Earp. Winona Earp. Feel free to go on eBay and look up Winona Earp photo cover to a comic. And then look through it. And then maybe he'll put some pricing.
Now I want to know.
Because it's dumb. But that show, I think it's on the USA Channel or Sci-Fi, it has a cult little following. And there isn't a lot of merchandise for that show.
Right, because it's a niche audience.
Yeah. So a photo cover of the actress who plays Winona Earp on the comic book makes it desirable for that niche audience. Now, then you add in the comic book audience saying, "Oh, that's worth money." It doubles it up a little bit. So, anything like that. Like I said, I've been scooping up the horror ones, especially the horror photo cover ones. I've got like a boatload of Underworld. Those have Kate Beckinsale on the cover. So, and then the other thing that follows this up, which will lead into our main story at the end, but you get a photo cover, and then that person shows up at a convention, and CGC is there, and you get Kate Beckinsale to sign your comic book in front of them, and you grade it, and it gets a 9.8, and all of a sudden you have a $1,000 book.
If no more.
So, you know. So and there are horror conventions.
Oh, yeah.
So easier access to people who played horror characters in horror movies.
Gotcha.
Unlike Comic-Con, where the audience might be too big to get to Kate Beckinsale, or the price might be too much to get a Kate Beckinsale autograph, it's not going to be that hard to get a Kane Hodder autograph on a Friday the 13th book. So, yeah, it's just something to think about. And it's like this other weird niche audience in comic books.
Gotcha.
Little horror IPs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's Spec.
So let's go to our 5 books that we read this week that are at the top of our list.
All right, I'll go first.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to put this book on there. I've read all 5 issues. I've enjoyed all 5. There's a backstory in this one, which is really weird. This one has 2 artists. It's Challenge of the Super Sons. I was a big fan of the original Super Sons. Okay. I hate the fact that they grew John up. They aged him up.
Oh, right.
Again, that's all on you, Bendis. These characters were great.
You're not a big fan of Michael Bendis.
I used to love him. He went over to DC and he stopped making books. I read his Young Justice. It was okay. But his Superman was not good. And then he took a character and kind of ruined him. And John Kent. I liked him. Why? Now we missed whatever 10 years of his life. Basically, he went over to Legion of Superheroes and grew up. I liked it better when he was young. So, Challenge of the Super Sons. It's Tomasi. There's 2 artists in here. I think it's Rayner and Stanley. One of them is good. One of them is not. The first part of this book is really good, but I've enjoyed all 5 of those issues. There's only 2 more issues left. I wish they would just make it an ongoing.
All right.
But, you know.
Okay.
What you got?
Silver Coin number 5.
Good book.
It was gonna be the last one, but now that it did so well, we're gonna get more of them. And in the back, you get the cover of the next one,
Which looks dope.
Looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks super cool. I hope that they come out with a
Arcade.
virgin. Yeah. I hope that they come out with a virgin cover of it, because I just want that as just a cover.
Yeah, it's a cool book.
And this is the origin of the Silver Coin.
Yeah.
As well. This is kind of how it became what it is today.
Yeah. It was a good deal.
Yeah.
Oh, let's both do that book.
Okay, let's do that.
All right.
Chip Zdarsky, Spider's Shadow number. It's the last one, right?
Last one.
But
although
it kind of looks like they might be doing. Yeah. It has like a little bit of an epilogue to it.
Yeah, little open-ended. That book's great.
Yeah, I watched a guy that said that he didn't like it. And I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
Nah, that was great. All 5 of those issues were great. The ending was great.
You'll have to pick it up and read it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to ruin.
Well, it's also 5. It's 5.
It's going to come out in a trade paperback too.
Oh, yeah.
So if you can't find the issues, you'll be able to pick up the trade paperback for $15 or
okay.
whatever. Yeah, it's really good. It's a what if story. What if Spider-Man had kept the Venom costume?
Right.
But it's good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I remember 4 where he's like super haggard and just like super old looking. He's just like, I'm so done.
It was good. And I'll throw the teaser out there for people that haven't been reading this. Some people don't make it out of this issue. There you go. I'm going to put this book up. Again, a lot of people don't like Frank Cho, but I do. His book is super simple to read. It's not the best written comic, but it's Hunger Games mixed with, Battle Royale.
Women trying to get the crown, right?
Right. The queen is barren. She can't have kids.
So,
and in this world, the rule is if you can't have kids, you can't be queen. So these 10 women fight it out from level to level. And this level is basically desert. They're basically fighting the worms from Dune kind of thing, you know, that kind of stuff. But it's good. Next issue's underwater. Looks cool.
Batman Detective 1041. It's I don't know. It was kind of, I don't know, fear state.
I saw it coming.
Yeah.
What happens, I saw coming. But also the thing I hate about that book, I hate the backstory.
Yeah.
The backstories are awful.
Wasn't the one before this, or was it
was
Batman?
all right.
Was the ghost one? Or
That's
Batman's
it's
the
in
ghost
Batman.
one?
In this one, it was Huntress, and now it's
And now Huntress is getting her own thing. So.
Yeah. But the core book, the main storyline, is good.
Yeah. Yeah. You go next.
All right.
I'm interested to see what you have about this one.
Okay, so this had to make my list. So I'm a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Tim Burton, but I do love a few Tim Burton projects. One
Batman
is
89.
the original Batman '89. So this is Batman '89, and Ham, I believe he's the guy who wrote the script for the Batman '89.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
So it is all the characters from that Batman '89. And this is what would have happened if Tim Burton had made the third and the fourth Batman movie instead of Joel Schumacher.
Okay.
So Tim Burton made Batman and Batman Returns.
Right.
So the Penguin one, Catwoman, and Joker. This is what he would have kept doing, supposedly. That's what Ham is telling us.
Gotcha.
And we're going to get Marlon Wayans Robin, and instead of Chris O'Donnell is who we got in the Joel Schumacher thing, and Prince makes an appearance in it. And I love Prince. Guy
still makes albums.
Yeah, guy's been dead forever. Albums are still coming out. And then you get Billy D. Williams, Harvey Dent, and it was a good nostalgia feel reading it for me.
And then they're doing the Superman 78 one, right?
Yeah, I believe that comes out maybe even next week, or maybe the week after. I can't remember.
Yeah. But is that the same kind of thing where it's...
I believe it is. It's where they're going to basically go from where Superman 2 ended, and keep going. We get a Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah. Love Christopher Reeves.
Yep.
Daredevil 33. Beautiful cover. Love this cover. It's basically the fight of Bullseye and Elektra.
It's really good.
Yeah. And then
Really
she needs some help, and some people show up to help her out.
My favorite scene in that book was her talking to Tony Stark, and she's holding her size up, and she's like, "No, what I need is some help. What do you got for me, Stark? I need some help. I need some tech."
You got anything better than this thing?
All right, so this
is interesting.
This is my book of the week. And maybe we'll make a little short video about me talking about this, and we'll tag this lady, Victoria Douglas.
Victoria Douglas.
She writes it and draws it.
Oh, so she's
her name is the only name on the book.
One woman wrecking machine.
Okay, so this is Behemoth Comics. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is the book of the month.
Book of the month.
I loved it.
We're halfway through the month.
I don't care. It's that okay. So as a cat owner, I'm a cat guy. I have 2 cats. I find them to be fascinating.
They are fascinating.
When you watch them, they're so free spirited and stuff, and you're like, what the hell is he? That.
What are you doing?
This is what this book is about.
Really?
Okay, so this is a story about a woman who comes home.
Okay.
From shopping.
Okay.
And she has left her cat at home all day.
So is this like a Calvin and Hobbes thing where you...
Kind of. It's really weird. So she comes home and the cat is there. So this book jumps back and forth between her perspective and the cat's and Cinnamon's perspective.
Gotcha.
And so
is this the owner right here? And then that's the cat?
This is the cat.
Yeah, and is that...
This is Cinnamon when Cinnamon's in his own mind.
Oh.
So this is Cinnamon when the owner's talking to Cinnamon, is this adorable little cat.
Yeah.
And this is the hell-raising bully when Cinnamon is inside his brain thinking of stuff. So she gets home, and she says she's going to give Cinnamon a treat, whatever, of catnip. And he sees the catnip, and he's like, like, I'm gonna get high. And she puts it away instead of giving him the catnip or whatever. But I don't want to give away too much, but then we see Cinnamon in his mind become this biker dude, and he puts together a plan to get the catnip.
Nice.
And it bounces back and forth between those two, and it has an adorable ending to it. And there's an issue 2 coming out. Like I said, I bought this off the cover.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this book. I picked it up, and I was like, I'm just going to buy it based off the cover. It is
okay.
It is.
You sold me. I'm gonna go pick it up.
Freaking fantastic.
I'll pick it up.
If you are, and if anybody is, if you don't think this is a book for you, but you own a cat, you should buy this book.
Okay. All right, last one. It's not as impressive as that spiel right there. The Batman Adventures continues.
It's a good book.
Season 2. It's Huntress introduced into the Batman Adventures universe. So there's that right there.
It's good.
Cool cover. I liked it.
And there's a big Harley Quinn book coming out in that universe.
Oh, like they're going to do Harley Quinn Adventures?
I think it's just a one-shot. It's Harley and Poison Ivy. But done, I believe, by that group of people.
Okay, cool. So those are the 5 for each one of us. We'll just move on to what we want to buy next week. Let's just pull these down, though.
Okay.
Because with the topic, I kind of want to show off
Cinnamon.
these.
Go find it.
So, also, I want to say something. If you can, there are, I think 1 in 10s of these covers.
I've never seen them.
I've never seen
physically.
them either. But I saw the covers of them, and they are way cooler.
Without the trade dress.
Well, it's not just the trade dress; it's a different art,
Right.
and it's like a black and white, and it's like very more horror driven, and they look so cool. And I think I'm gonna go try to find them. Again, I didn't like 4, but this one was really good. 3 was great. 2 was super good.
Still like 2 the best.
Yeah. There's that. What do we got? Okay, so I'll start off with the first book because we both have it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it. King the Conqueror.
Number
I think
one.
it's just called King the Conqueror, right?
Yep.
It's just ton of covers. A ton of covers. 10 plus?
There are 4 that I'm picking up.
I know 2 maybe. The Hourglass one,
Yes.
and then the Scotty Young one.
Scotty Young, yes.
He's just standing on the world
With a flag. Like
With a
he's
flag,
planted a flag.
yeah.
I'm taking the earth. Boom. Yes. There's a couple others. There's a couple Stormbreaker covers that are just really cool looking. Like I think it's RB Silva.
There's like a Peach Momoko one, probably.
Yeah. There's some dope covers. There is a Peach Momoko one.
Is this a spec-worthy book, or is it just
I
kind
don't
of
know.
like...
I think maybe not issue number 1 because there's gonna be so many.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of copies.
I don't think many people are going to stay on this long term, which is probably when they start dropping things.
I'm gonna stay on it. Looks pretty good. What else you got?
I got Batman Secret Files. It's the Clown Hunter one. I think we got another one before this.
We got a Huntress one.
Yeah, Huntress one.
Yeah.
And so we're. I think this is just going to be more following up on the Clown Hunter and what he's doing. I like the Clown Hunter. I think it's probably the best character James Tynion made.
I still like the Miracle Molly girl.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. I like Clown Hunter more.
Yeah.
But
It'll be
Miracle
interesting.
Molly's been not.
It'll be interesting to see what they
fleshed out as much.
do with Clown Hunter.
Yeah.
What they need to do is move him over to like Titans Academy or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or maybe he is there. Maybe he's Red X. I don't know.
yeah. Let's see here, and then I got Eat the Rich, which I'm a huge Boom Studios fan, and I'm going to try to find for my wife, because she's a huge Lady Killer fan, that kind of Lady Killer.
It's a Jenny Frizen. There's 3 of them. There's a regular cover.
Is it a B one?
There's just cover B or C.
Okay.
And then there's a 1 in 25 and a 1 in 50.
Gotcha. Cool.
They all look great.
And then we got Nightwing 83. Really cool cover on this one. But also it just is a great series.
Yeah.
Tom Taylor's writing it, and I'm still loving it.
Yeah.
I'm also a huge Scott Snyder fan, so I also got Nocterra number 6.
Maybe optioned, maybe.
Yeah,
I
did not hear that.
It's a slight rumor.
Yeah. I'll do some honorable mentions. Moon Knight number 2.
Wait, I got Moon Knight on mine. Hold on. Moon Knight number 2.
There you
Okay. Moon Knight number 2.
Are we following that character? Is that new character still getting involved in the...
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah. And then Radiant Black, I think 7? Or I didn't write down
8?
the number. I think it's 8, maybe.
Yeah.
I think we might be still following the Red Radiant. And then just because I gotta say it, and both of us are probably gonna pick it up just because we respect the guy for not increasing his price, King Spawn number 1.
Keep selling it at $2.99, man. You keep fighting the fight. Okay. Like it better at my number 1 at $1.99. I'm gonna get Stanley the Snowman from Scoot Comics.
Which is a branch off of Scout Comics. It's the kid division of Scout Comics.
So yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Stanley Snowman. Cool. Done.
Is it Stan Lee as a Stone Man?
No, it's Stanley. Stanley.
Is it
As
Stanley?
Yeah, Stanley the Snowman. Yeah.
Kids comic.
Yeah, kid comic. Picking that up. $1.99.
Cool.
Gonna pick up Black Cat, of course.
Yeah,
It's also
I
on my
did
list.
put on mine because there was an annual that came out this week.
It was
Black
second
Cat?
printing.
Oh, okay, it was a second printing. Gotcha.
First appearance of the White Fox group. Black Cat, it's dope. Love the ending of the last issue. Don't want to give it away, but kind of gives it away on the front cover of the new issue. But
Really? The one I saw, the variant, was just her.
right, cover A is got both characters on the cover.
Gotcha.
But I don't want to say who it is.
Well, you'll probably see it.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'll put up the variant so you don't get to see it.
But yeah, Black Cat, that book is great right now. And then the last one I'm picking up is, first, it hooked me just because it has a Jen Bartel variant, cover C. Killer Queens, which is about gay...
Isn't it 2 gay guys?
Yeah, gay characters in outer space. And it has kind of a Flash...
Gordon,
Flash Gordon feel to it.
Okay.
It's an issue number 1. Looks cool. Art looks great. Picking it up.
Cool. And you're doing the cover C of that one?
Cover C is the Jen Bartel. I'm getting all the covers. I mean, come on.
Because cover A looked interesting too.
Yeah.
It kind of looked more like early Strange Adventures kind of look to it.
Yeah, I'm getting all 3 covers, but the third cover is the Jen Bartel cover, and I like Jen Bartel, so.
Gotcha. All right, so those are the 5
Yep.
for next week with some honorable mentions, and let's get talking about our main topic.
So comic book collecting has taken a turn towards, comic books in general have taken a turn more towards the collectible.
Right. Getting this.
Yeah, getting your book encapsulated, and so it never gets harmed again, and graded, so you can say, I have the best version of this book.
Especially, I would say the collectability of for slabbing is definitely for more Silver Age. In my opinion, Silver Age and Golden Age books, like,
At this point, it's everything.
I know, but Silver Age and Golden Age are kind of like you kind of want to preserve these things. These are kind of history in the making kind of books.
Matter of time before that becomes a Silver Age.
I'm aware. But
But yeah, this has become like, I remember when this first happened. Okay?
Okay.
I was against this for the longest time.
Really?
Yes. I thought this was stupid. I am a comic book reader.
So, like, should I be able to read my comic books forever?
Should I be able to read my comic?
Yeah.
Now, back when this first started, trade paperbacks weren't as
Prevalent?
easy to get.
Okay.
Now in your LCS and Barnes & Noble and Amazon, I mean, if I encapsulate this, I can still read my story because I can go get that story for $10.
Yeah.
And bring it
Well,
back.
now you can get pretty much every book.
Or digitally, or I can pay $15 a month or whatever and just read whatever Marvel book I want. Mm-hmm. But encapsulation for me, when it first started, I thought it was stupid. And then
I don't understand for modern books as much. I do have like 2 modern books here.
Right. This isn't so modern, but
it's kind of like,
this is 1989, man.
that's still considered modern, I think.
It was 30 years ago.
I know, but it's still that's the weird thing is modern is still.
If something's 10 years old at that point, it's not really modern anymore for me. You've passed a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, you call it something else.
Got it. Okay, but
this is a modern.
This
book.
is modern. This came out this year, I think, or
did
last
you
year.
actually or did you?
I did
buy
not
that?
capsulate.
You bought it.
I bought it capsulated.
Okay.
Which I was like, okay, and it was more for the cover. So I think this is kind of for modern books. It's kind of like I have a bajillion variants here.
Right.
I can choose the variant I want or get it encapsulated already, and then I can have my reader's copy off to the side.
Right. And this is the Nakayama Unknown Comics.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, that Walmart pack, had some of these on it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a great cover. So, now, but here's the thing is what's happened. Okay, so since the pandemic hit, which will be an age in our life forever, the pandemic era.
Yeah.
During the pandemic era, people got a little extra money from the government.
Little extra money?
There wasn't a lot to do. You couldn't go anywhere, so all you could do was shop online.
Right.
So the comic book market took a giant
increase,
jagged jump.
Yeah.
So did baseball cards and Pokemon cards.
Just trading cards, collectibles.
And so at this time of filming, I believe Beckett is still not taking submissions.
Nope.
And they're not going to until 2022.
Yeah.
So right now, currently, at CGC, if you wanted to get your book graded and you send them a book, you're not getting it back until 2022. Unless you pay a ridiculous amount of money on top of it to speed yours
out the door. Which, are you going to get as good of a grade if you're trying to blast it out?
I don't know. And that's the thing. Who's grading your books now over there? I don't know because they're so slammed.
Because they hired like 30 new graders, right?
I don't know how many of those. They hired 70 new staff. I don't know how many of those people are graders. I'm assuming they have to go to like a class. I don't know.
I would hope so.
And I don't know if there's somebody who checks their work or what. Like I said, I don't know how it works there.
Mm-hmm.
To what they should do, both these companies, all these companies, they should all put out videos on their YouTube channels showing a comic book go through the process so people understand what's really being happening there. Or I feel like it's a teacher grading homework but going to be like, see. I don't really feel like grading today. B. And we'll talk about that. PGX, they're a company that does this also. One of their downfalls, it appeared to be like they didn't care. They did not care.
But also, you told me that there was some shady stuff that was also happening at PGX. Where it's like, hey, I'm your friend, so I'll give you the
Again, I was not involved. I did not grade books back then. And I still have never graded a book. I've bought graded books, but I've never sent a book to be graded until Jim Lee went to CGC.
Yeah.
And I'll see those books,
2022.
Summer 2022.
Yeah, one of our friends, Mitchell, he'll be on the Long Box Deep Dive or Long Box Lunch show. He submitted a ton of his books to CGC. before even you did.
Yeah.
And he keeps on telling me, because he works with me, he's like, I still haven't gotten charged for it.
I still haven't gotten the email saying
I
that they're
haven't gotten
being
charged.
processed.
Yeah.
Yes. So here's the thing.
December you'll get that email.
And this is what I wanted to talk about, really.
Okay.
When we got here. Okay, so CGC, they had a monopoly.
Yes. A gigantic monopoly.
They were 95% of the books being graded, comics. This was the book you wanted. If I had this book, and say this, what do you think, what's this book worth? I don't know.
About $50.
Okay, so say if this is worth 50. If I had this same book here, graded here, this one's worth 30. Even if they had the same grade. Because this is viewed as
This is a gold standard.
Sure.
This is like...
The gold standard.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about that. Why are they the gold standard?
They were here first.
Correct. So, what is good for business? Competition. Competition is the best thing for business because it makes this company always have to try to stay ahead of this company.
Because CBCS came along. And here's the story of CBCS. CBCS, as far as this is how I understand it, the guy who basically helped create CGC was probably like one of the 4 guys.
Yeah, he went over here and started this company.
A company reached out to him after he had left that company because they weren't going to give him anything from it. He left the company, went over to Heritage, and he started working at Heritage.
Right.
He then got called up by the sister company of this company, or the grandfather of this company, and basically was like, hey, you can do it however you want. You have creative freedom on how you do it. You can hire whoever you want. We don't care. Just basically make us money. And you can create this company, CBCS.
I can tell you 10 years ago,
Okay.
I was sitting in a room with Joel, and I said, we should start our own grading company. We should grade books. It's going to be a thing. It's starting to take off. Now, again, I didn't think it would take off. But 10 years ago, it started to take off. And now it is a profitable business. How much did they get bought for or evaluated at?
I don't
500 million?
remember. Yeah.
Something like 500 million, CGC. They got purchased by
It was
Blackstone.
Yeah, Blackstone.
Here's the thing. Okay, so right now, if I place an order, I send my copy
Well, I
to
can tell you.
CS. How much? When do I get my
I can
books?
tell you. So first of all, I have a bunch of books coming, and we'll probably do an opening when they come. I am a huge fan of Something's Killing the Children.
Right.
James Tynion was doing a signing first, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna send off a bunch of my books. This is the first time I'd ever done it.
Right.
How
nervous were you
super
shipping
nervous.
those off?
Super freaking nervous. I had like $2,000 worth of books just sitting there. I was like, please do not destroy these.
Yeah.
But again, you never got an email, right? You haven't gotten an email. Mitchell hasn't gotten an email. I got an email probably 2 or 3 days ago. No, probably 2 weeks ago now.
Right.
Hey, we got your books. They have been signed. They're all good to go. They are getting processed, and we'll send you out the information when we're done.
Okay.
We apologize if you hear the noise underneath of us.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm assuming I'll have them in the next 2 months or 3 months.
Right.
You are probably going to get them in the summer of 2022.
Yeah.
And that's almost not an exaggeration. Because
it's not.
this, just CBCS is the second.
So
I would say second to them.
Right.
But in terms of price, we're talking like a $10, $20 deficit, if that.
Right.
In some cases, especially if it's older books, there's not that much of a difference anymore.
I can tell you the only thing I like about the CGC label over the CBCS label is
this big white thing.
the big white thing,
which is what people say.
Because it's easier to see the grade.
The thing that the guy that I forgot his name, or else I would say it. The guy who created this company, he said that he didn't want a white thing. First of all, because it would look too much like my competition. Number two, he said that, okay, if you're looking at a book, like, what do you want to look at first? Do you want to look at, like, what is the reason we encapsulate these things? Is it because of the grade, or is it because we want to see the beautiful artwork?
It's the grade.
Apparently it's the grade. But in my mind, I really liked that argument, so I go with CBCS. This is kind of what I go for.
Right. Here's the thing, though. Like I said, they had a monopoly. So for whatever, 10 years, whatever. They had a monopoly. And they were controlling it.
Right.
They did not see the influx of what was coming. And now, I'm going to say by the summer of next year, CBCS will have closed the gap. Right now, I'm going to say the difference is, what are we saying the difference is?
I'd say $10-$20.
Right, but we're talking 30-40%. So if this was $1,000 book, how much could I get for this?
See, that's the thing is I don't think that it
I think I looked the other day, and I think a same graded book that was in the thousands was still hundreds of dollars cheaper to go this route.
I would say it depends on the book.
So, but I think that gap is closing.
Quickly.
And the other thing is, I think if there's somebody out there who has the money to start something up like this, maybe it is this EGS. It's not PGX.
No, PGX has too much of a rap.
They have too much of bad baggage.
Which sucks because we live in Portland.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you go look at their graded books online on eBay.
Super cheap.
Super cheap.
You should just break those open and then just get them
resubmitted. There's a niche for a third company.
Yeah,
maybe even a fourth. I don't know. Now, the other thing is CGC is going to start grading other stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to start grading
video games,
VHS tapes, I think, as I heard.
They're already doing cards.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if CBCS is doing anything other than comics.
Well, CBCS isn't going to do anything because I think they're attached to the Beckett thing.
Oh.
Okay. I think because they're basically a division, I think, of Beckett. I'd have to check. I will put a thing if I'm wrong. But I think that they are part of a company that already does that stuff, and they're just the division that does comic books.
Well, there's definitely a hole in there for another company due to the fact of how backed up all the companies are.
Well, so let's talk about this EGS.
Because it should not take me.
No, it should not.
I should be able to mail you my book, and I should be able to get it within 2 to 3 weeks.
If you,
that's
2 to 3 weeks. I would say a month.
Well, how long does it take for you to?
If I'm doing it,
review a comic book.
I think it depends on obviously the year.
Who it is. I understand some people are, but I mean, if you're looking at like a modern book, and it's obviously a 9.8, it's got the better paper on it. It's a cover B of Batman, with the stock.
Yeah. It's kind of like, okay, am I looking? Are any of the corners bad? Are there any spine ticks? And
so,
is there any color bleed?
How many of those could I grade in an 8-hour day? Because it's just work. People show up at 9 and they go home at 5.
Yeah, because they're not doing the whole process. Well, I'm assuming a guy doesn't then just go over to the plastic area and do it all.
I'm assuming there's somebody who does that.
I think he has it in a bag and board.
Right.
And puts a little sticker on it or whatever, saying, "Hey, this is the grade I gave it." Yeah. And then it goes over to.
I'm sure there's a double grading system. You grade it again. They should release videos. I'm sure it goes from one grader to the next grader.
I know that CBCS it goes through like 3 graders before it gets the final.
So, again, it's catching up. But again, I should be able to get my book back within a month. I just think that that's a reasonable request. Now, again, that's why a third company, I think, could catch up, especially right now.
Well, so we got this company. I don't know how long they've been operating. There's a company called EGS.
Right.
They jumped onto so CGC does different labels. You can get a Spider-Man on your label. You can get a Miles Morales. You can get an Iron Man. You can get whatever. There are things like that. CBCS does not do that.
Right.
Again, they go with a more simplistic label.
Right.
I think they had talked about maybe doing one eventually, but they're not
Right
doing
now,
it
right now they're uniform.
Yeah. And then EGS, I think you can just customize the crap out of your label.
Right. You can pick your color.
You can choose your color. You can choose, like, if you want, like, bats in the background because it's a Batman cover, or if you want, like, a shield because it's a Captain America cover or whatever. You can do gradients, I think. Like, there are a lot different
Now,
things.
I've never held an EGS one.
No,
in my
I
hands,
haven't either.
But it looks like the capsule closes like this, like a clamshell.
I've seen people hold them.
And then there's like
There is a tape thing on the bottom.
holographic sticker like this on the bottom end of the comic of the encapsulation to make it tamper-proof. So if anybody opens it up, that sticker will ruin.
Yeah, so if you cut that sticker, then it's considered not valid. Which I kind of like that idea. The reason being is then, like,
Scammers on eBay.
well, yeah, that, but also here's this. It is hard to get into one of these.
Yep.
And let's say, like, I see the spine tick right there. This could go get pressed and probably come back a better grade.
Right.
Maybe someone didn't press their book before getting it graded, and so you're like, hey, I'll buy that off of you, and you grab it, cut that thing, open it up, grab the book out, press it yourself, get another person to press it, whatever, and then send it off to maybe you like CGC or CBCS more, or you go back to EGS with that same book.
It's a market upon itself. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna grade some video cassettes.
Yeah, when that happens.
When that happens, I'm gonna grade a couple video cassettes. I have a couple that are sealed, and it's because I've seen the video game ones and what they go for, like a Mario Brothers, graded at a 9 or whatever, and it goes for whatever $100,000 or a ridiculous amount of money.
My question is if you have a 1 to 10 scale system, why don't you use the 10?
Yeah, I don't know. They have. You can get 10s on CGC.
I know.
It's very few and far between. They don't give them out anymore.
You can do it kind of with CBCS too. But again, it's like, what's the difference between a 9.8 and a...
Right. And that's why they do 9.2, 9...
Yeah, but they do a 9.9 sometimes.
9.6,
and I'm like,
9.8.
really? What? Just give it a 10 at that point.
And it's because they can't tell the difference between what's a 9.2 to a 9.3.
Right.
And that's why they don't give a 9.3.
But then they usually... And then sometimes they just give someone a 9.9.
Right.
Instead of a 9.8. I'm like, okay, cool. But like...
Now, a lot of those, I think, come from... They're direct from printer to CGC.
So it's like, you can't have anything different.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting topic. And like I was telling Spencer, we should revisit it every...
3-4 months.
3-4 months. Just revisit it really quickly. See what's going on with all those companies, time delay, and we should probably look into pricing and then put up pricing so people can see the difference between if I encapsulate a modern book here, and here, what's the price?
Yeah, and we could even talk about, maybe when I get my books back, we can talk about, is there really a big difference between a book that gets signed and a book that doesn't get signed?
Depends if the person's dead or not.
Yeah. But it's just like, I don't know, like, it's... Part of me is like, okay, it's cool to encapsulate books because I can still read them with a trade paperback.
It takes up a lot more space.
I can get a trade paperback and I can still read the book and I still have my original copy, like, encapsulated. I don't know. I also have, like, I've gone hunting and seen, like, I've gotten books that are older, like Bronze Age or whatever.
Right.
And sometimes I just like opening them up and looking at the art inside of it and being like, wow, this is kind of cool.
Which you can no longer do with those.
Mm-hmm. And it's not going to look the same or feel the same when you're looking through a trade paperback because, it's a digital version of that printed out.
Right.
Probably with the best version they could find.
Yeah, it's an interesting new venture.
Sometimes I've thought about just doing dropping stuff off because it's just so much more money. Like, oh, well, like, so
if you're reselling books and you have you feel like you have a high grade of an older book, it's
a no-brainer, really.
It's a no-brainer. You're costing yourself money by not grading it and then selling it.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that I would say in that scenario is that right now, if you go through CGC and you're really like, okay, I have a 9.8 of Hawkeye. Okay, maybe you'll miss that mark of when you can actually like get the best price for your book.
You will miss your mark.
Yeah, exactly. Because you just don't have...
The show will have been gone and done.
And everyone's not going to care as much anymore, so they're going to go over to another book that they want to buy. Because that's an interesting thing where it's just like, I don't know, like I bought some stuff for Winter Soldier and I sold some of it, but I still have some of it. And I'm like, the spike of it was right before the show started. Right. And then afterwards, there was a couple little spikes, but then it went down again.
Yeah.
So, like, if you want some books, you should wait until the show ends and don't do FOMO, where you have to buy it because the show's thing, and just wait until the show's over if you want it in your collection.
Having it graded and having it, two things. It's either selling it to make more money, or B, you are using it as a
preserve
and a show off for the art. I have this collectible. You walk into my room and you whatever, and you see this, here, kind of thing. It'll be interesting to see in 2022, because it's going to be 2022 because we're going to see nothing over the next 6 months.
What do you mean?
How fast the delivery gets back to people once we get through because obviously what they did is they got hit by a wave of people wanting their stuff graded, people sending in boxes of hundreds of books.
Do you think it will ever slow down again? Probably.
Yeah, especially if a third company comes along, especially if CB whatever they're
EGS.
Yeah, if EGS comes on board and people start using them a little bit.
Well, people are already using them.
Right.
But there's not a lot of people using them yet.
But CGC will start slowly seeing that drift off.
Right.
Of them going to other companies because they're getting their books back faster. The technology for the slabs is... I know I've read people who say that this slab is actually better than the CGC slab.
Well, also they pride themselves. So with that book, you can get Newton rings. With CGC slabs, you can get Newton rings, which are just these kind of oil slick looking things on your book. CBCS prides themselves in not doing that. They try their darndest to make it so you can't have that because it's a little thicker, so that you have a little bit more room between them, so it's not squishing against it.
So, like I said, it'll be interesting in 2022 to see what the kind of turnaround time is.
After the spike.
Because, again, I don't want to send any books to CGC because I know I'm not going to see them for a year.
Yeah. You only did it because you wanted the signed books from Jim Lee. Yeah.
Or I would have gone another route.
Right.
So, or just not sent them in and waited until it became everything loosened up a little bit, and I could get them.
Are you thinking about going more through CGC afterwards?
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be doing grading books. I mean, I don't know if that's the thing I want to get into.
Yeah.
If I grade a book, it's probably because I want to keep it in my PC.
Right.
Or it is simply because I have $1,000 book, and if I grade it, I can get $2,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's that simple.
$30 for $2,000.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be the only reason to do it for me. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see how fast the other companies catch up to CGC. And I think it is going to happen over the next 6 months.
Well, CBCS is already...
People are going to get pissed off.
Well, people are already getting pissed off by CGC. Because it's not only just that they're not just doing
burning
lower
through the
times.
books because they're doing those signings and everything else.
Yeah,
And
but they're also not doing a slow. They're not doing a slow. Like they're being slower, but at the same time, it's like there's a lot of people that know their stuff when it comes to grading because they either sell books a lot or they've looked at enough 9.8s versus 9.2s, 9.4s, 9.6s that they're like, okay, I know that this is probably a 9.8. Like.
right. And then they get it back as a 9.6.
Yeah, well, or it's not necessarily that. It's just like, I don't know, like, I know that quality, I've heard of horror stories where it's like, oh, your books were damaged in processing, so we're going to charge you more because we have to do something. Really? It's not my fault that you know, stuff like that. I'm just like, whatever, dude.
Well, I've seen people talk about their stuff getting damaged going there in the mail or whatever, and then, or they when they send it back, it gets damaged in the mail or whatever, and then CGC gives you a payout for the difference between what the book's worth now. Again, because it's collectible, it would really help if, like I said, it would be too bad PGX or whatever sucks or whatever, because if we could just walk it over,
Yeah, but nice.
it'd be way better than
Because
mailing
CGC's
it.
in Florida.
Yeah,
And CBCS is in Texas.
right.
So it's a little closer, but not much.
So, hey, somebody on the West Coast who has lots of money, get on it. Generate a company. There's got to be a company making these plastic cases. Just let's figure out who it is.
We could do it. Just kidding. No, we don't have the money. We don't have the bandwidth to do that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean,
Well, I don't even know where EGS is located.
Neither
Maybe
do
on
I.
the East Coast.
probably.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be interesting because I got to get this. I got to get this Cinnamon #1
Signed and
signed and graded. No. Get this book.
all right. I think that's it for
Yeah.
Bag Sports and Breakfast. Read your comics.
Read your
and,
comics.
You guys have a good rest of your day.